Welcome to my Asshole Podcast. Let's get into it. Welcome to my Asshole Podcast. It's good to have you back on another beautiful Thursday episode. Glad to see you back. You back? I know why you're back, you little freak. You are ready for some more chapters of Lights Out, aren't you? You dirty little girl. Oh my God. You are dirty, aren't you? You're just ready for some more action. You ready to see our main girl get fucked? Because I think that's what's about to happen. I don't know what's going on. Because we pretty much went from homeboy breaking into her house. All right. I don't know if I don't know what he did. And maybe jerked himself off or something like that in her bed or whatever. She saw the video and was like, wait a minute, that was in my bedroom. Hold up. You know, now she's like fantasizing about it. Like, oh my God, you know, what if he was in here in my room? Like, whoo, I want his penis, you know, and she's just, and homeboy is like, yo, you know what I mean? I want that coochie, man. So, I don't know. I mean, don't get me wrong. Homeboy is being a hella creep, if I'm being real with you. He really is. Homeboy's being a massive creep, but I mean, when she's into it, I guess, you know, but hey, I'm excited to get into today's two chapters. They're going to be some exhilarating ass chapters. I'm excited, and I know you guys are too. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into today's episode. You know what we got though? We have our thread, and then we will hop into the book. So today's thread is, what's your not safe for work college story? All right. So let's see what crazy college stories y'all motherfuckers got. Watched a guy beer bong a fifth of Jack. Right before he did it, he said to his buddies, okay, so when I'm done, let's go to the hospital. Oh shit. Yo. He did it, and he and his buddies immediately hopped in the car and took him to get his stomach pumped. What the fuck? Why the hell would you need to get your stomach pumped? I mean, you can't just throw it up? I mean, maybe he can't. Maybe he's one of those guys that, like, he just, you know, or one of those people who just can't throw up. It's so weird. I had to look this up. And there are people who literally, like, their stomachs don't have enough, like, stomach acid to, like, actually be able to force a regurgitation. And so if something were to get in their stomach and it's just not agreeing with them, they have to get their stomach pumped because they just don't have enough. I don't know what it's called. I'm sure you can Google it or look it up. But yeah, bro, that's some crazy shit. Having to go to the hospital in order to get your stomach pumped is wild. All right, what's your NSFW college story? A couple of girls on my floor were going to a dance one night. I didn't go as I had to work early in the next morning, so I helped out with hair, makeup, and a variety of other things before going back to my room to watch a movie. As I was sitting on my bed watching my film, the door opened and a random guy came in and took off his pants. I was a bit shocked and confused, so I didn't manage to say anything while he was undressing. As soon as his pants were on the ground, I managed to speak up. I told him, wrong room, and he looked around and pulled his pants up and left. I'm surprised he wasn't just like, oh, well, I mean, like, are you down? You know what I mean? Like, I won't lie to you. If I was Mr. Pants around my ankles guy, I would ask. I'd be like, I mean, you down? Like, you know, you down? You straight? Like, I'm down. I got my penis already out. Like, you know, shit. That's insane. I don't know why you would have your dorm room open like that. Maybe lock the door next time, you know, so that way no random errand penises come in, you know. Just saying. What's your NSFW college story? I tried hooking up with an exchange student. We went to a bar, ended up dancing and making out. Then at some point we went outside to talk, and she asked if you want to fuck me. And as I was drunkenly agreeing, she put her hand in her pants, then showed me her hand which had blood on it, then wiped it on the wall of the bar, then called me gay for turning her down. Okay, my thing is, did this whole blood smearing thing work for you? You know, like, is this what you do? Like, is this a normal thing? Cause I mean, for me personally, a period don't stop nothing but a sentence. You know what I mean? Like, I'd be like, bloody vagina or not, I'm clapping your cheeks. But I already agreed. So the whole blood ritual you just did, is that a thing? Is that for reals? Like, you know what I mean? Is that a thing you guys do? Like, from where your country is, you know, bitches just digging they pussy and just be like, yeah. That would be crazy if she like took the blood and then like put it on his face or some shit. Just like, oh, bro. Okay, at that point, I would pretend like it wasn't disgusting, clap the cheeks, and then be like, yo, that was fucking disgusting. Yeah, I mean, like, let's be honest here. I'd pretend like it wasn't disgusting, clap the cheeks, and then we're good. You know, like, come on now, priorities, people, priorities. That's some crazy shit. What's your NSFW college story? A girl bet a friend of mine that if he could eat 18 ice cream Snickers bars in 30 minutes, she would give him a blowjob. He finished in 18. She backed out of the deal, so all he won was the admiration of his peers and a massive stomachache. The same friend almost got kicked out of school for shitting on the bra of a girl from our dorm room. What the fuck? How did he shit on a bra? What the fuck? That is some insane shit. The details are not terribly important. He had a student affairs trial and had to testify about pooping on the bra in front of all these university higher ups and what he learned from it. A lot of the people on our floor went in support to testify, essentially saying, sure, he shat on that bra, but he's a good guy. I felt terrible because he only took that decisive dump because I told him it would be funny. So did they find a random girl's bra? And then he was like, bro, you should go shit on that bra. And homeboy's like, bro, that would be funny. He went over there and pulled his pants down and just shat on a girl's bra. And then what? She like found it or some shit? We need the details. The fact that you're over here sitting there talking about all the details aren't important. Yes, they are. The details are very important. For one, where did you find this bra? Two, why? Where were you guys coming from that made you think, oh my God, shit on that bra? You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck is going on? Because to me, it seems like there was just a bra out in the middle of the hallway or some shit. You guys saw that? Maybe she was carrying her laundry and it like fell out of her thing. And then you were like, yo, dude, you should go doo-doo on that bra. And then he was just like, yeah, I'll go doo-doo on that bra. Facts. He goes, doo-doo's on the bra. She comes bust in the corner, sees my man squat, you know, with doo-doo coming out of his butthole, landing on her bra. And then she's like, ah, you know, like, that's a scenario I'm thinking of. Maybe you guys are thinking of a different scenario. I don't know. The details are important, my guy. They're very important with this one. How in the hell you gonna leave us hanging like that? I need doo-doo on the bra justice right now. All right, what's your NSFW college story? So I met this girl on Tinder and have her over for a mini second date at the end of the semester. The room was set up for 3 people in one room connected to another room of 3 guys on the other side. One roommate was already home for break and the other let me have the room for the night with the girl. The other guys were still in their room, which was cool. The only thing is that this girl was on her period and tried flushing her pad down the toilet in a big wad of paper towel. After she uses the toilet, we shut the door and start watching a movie. We hear commotion in the bathroom, but just ignore it until it till I get text in the group message that her pad flooded the toilet. Eventually, a girl down the hall picked it up off of the ground with a hanger and threw it out. They even bleached the bathroom floor. I went in there after and apologized. The worst part was when I had to tell the girl what happened to make sure she didn't do it again. She felt terrible and was embarrassed. Still got blown though. Hey, you know, a W is a W, my guy. And ladies, please don't try to put your fucking pads down the toilet. Just put them in the trash. We're adults. We understand your vagina bleeds. We know what a fucking tampon and a pad is. You're like, come on, man. Look, I get it. And if I'm being honest with you, it's like, bitch, you need to use tampons. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Grow up, you child. Still using pads out in this shit. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know, and I don't care. I don't know if you girls even fucking... I don't know. There was one girl that had told me that because there was one girl I used to know in high school, and you know we dated for a little bit and whatever, and she was just like, oh yeah, you know, I used to use pads in high school, but now that I'm older, I use tampons because like pads. She says pads are for kids or whatever. So I was like, oh okay, whatever. So, you know, that piece of information kind of stuck with me. So I was like, oh, okay, maybe that's true for every girl. You know, maybe that's true for most girls. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, look, bro. Again, even if a girl came to my house, you know what I mean, and she was on her period and I didn't know, and she had to change her shit out or whatever, put it in the trash can. Put it in the trash can. Don't flood my fucking toilet. You know what I mean? Because it's like, bro, what are you hiding? I already know you have your periods. I already know your vagina bleeds. You know what I mean? It's why I have my saying, periods only stop a sentence. You know what I mean? I know these things already. It's all good. I'm going to pull down your pants and underwear with the same amount of excitement that I would even if I didn't see the pad. You know what I mean? Or I didn't see the tampon in there. I've done that. Before. I've taken tampons out of a girl so we can get down to business. Like, come on, man. I just look at it like we're all adults at this point. And being ashamed of your period is just, it's childish, in my opinion, if I'm being honest with you. Like, if you're a girl and you're ashamed of your period in front of a dude, like, come on, man. That's extremely childish. Like, come on now. All right, on to our next one. What's your NSFW college story? My housemate used to make the most adorable squeaking noises when she was having sex. Difficult to sleep through, though. Squeaking noises? What? How does one make squeaking noises? You know what I mean? How? Like she's out here getting fucked and she's like, eat, 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 eat. You know what I mean? Like, what? And then personally, if I was the guy fucking her, I wouldn't find that like adorable. You know what I mean? My pace would just slowly slow. I'm like, is that you or the bed? You know, like, bro, is that you or the bed? Like, what the fuck is going on here? And if she turned around and was like, oh, that's me, I would just be like, huh, okay, all right. My pace would continue, of course, you know, until I nut, but it's just, that would be some crazy shit. I definitely would find that weird. All right. Cool. What is your NSFW college story? I went to college in Minneapolis and worked at a convenience store across the street from my apartment. One day, these two Japanese girls brought a bunch of ice cream to my counter, and we talked for a bit. I found out they were visiting from Osaka and disliked the girl they were crashing with because she was boring. So I invited them out to see a local band at First Avenue. We ended up having a great time and went back to my place to party more. My friend Mike, who was with us, went home eventually, and the girls jumped on me as soon as I locked the door. We hooked up, and the whole time I was in disbelief because for a white guy, having a threesome with 2 Japanese girls is a cartoon level bucket list. Facts. Damn, son. One day. Also, having a threesome wasn't as intimidating as I always thought. I had just thrown out all my furniture, including a couch and bed, because some asshole put a great looking couch riddled with bed bugs by the dumpster with no sign, and I unknowingly brought it up to my apartment. We had all crashed in a pile of blankets and sleeping pads after fooling around. I was worried that in the morning I would have to explain to the girls and they would run away grossed out, but they were totally cool and understanding. They hated the girl they were supposed to be staying with so much that they ended up bringing all their luggage down to my place to stay with me in my unfurnished apartment. They stayed the rest of their time in Minneapolis with me and cleaned my apartment, bought me booze, and cooked delicious Japanese stew for me. Damn! Yo! What the fuck, man? This man is living my dream. You know, just 2 little Japanese biddies up in his house, giving him sex and cooking him food. Bro, that is the dream, son. This man is living the anime harem for real. Oh, I'm jealous. I offered to drive them to the airport as it was the least I could do. On the way to the highway, one of them made me pull over at a furniture store and bought me a damn futon bed. Damn. Best thing that happened to me in college. If you're out there, thank you, Minami and Now. Hey, shout out Minami and Now, baby. You know, where y'all at? Because, you know, I got furniture already. We good. We good, baby. I got furniture. We chilling. You know? Yeah. If you ever want to come down to California way, you know, and fuck Minneapolis, come on down. Hey, bro. Psst. W. Wow, man. Oh, bro. Man is out here living the dream. Or he was anyway. Yeah, damn. All right, what's your NSFW college story? Me and the girlfriend at the time were super horny, but my roommate was in the room asleep, so we went exploring to find a new spot to do the dirty. Oh, damn. We ended up finding a spot in a nook in the downstairs room. We turned off the lights, put a towel down, and went to town. Halfway through, someone comes in to take a piss. She's riding me at the time, so we freeze and wait for him to leave. We finish our business and left undetected. Oh, shit. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. And I've never done it before. Never done it. Never done like the whole public sex thing, you know? And I've always wanted to try it. Because I feel like it would be just crazy sexy, you know? It's why one of my like I guess I don't want to say dreams or like, you know, but one of my I guess you would say like sexual bucket list or something like that, I guess. Is definitely fucking at work. Oh my God, I would love to get paid to smash a girl in the bathroom. I'm telling you, it'd be crazy. You know, that is a dream that I'm sure probably will never come true. But hey, a man can dream. You know, a man can dream. Oh my God. Or even if it's a thing where, you know, say like my girl at the time comes to my place of work, which that probably wouldn't happen because I work overnight. But still, you know, she comes to work and then we just kind of go into the bathroom and bang it out there. That would be amazing too, you know. Goddamn. Because I remember when I worked retail, I would, you know, a lot of times I would date some of the girls that were in the store and stuff like that. And I remember one time I was just like, damn, there was one girl I was dating and, you know, it sucked because we never closed together at the same time after we started dating. And that really sucked because I was just like, bro, when it's closing time, there ain't no customers, there ain't no managers. It's just me and her in the department. I wanted to take her to that cooler, man, and just bang it out, baby. Goddamn, you know, but never happened. You know what I mean? It's all good. It's all good. It is what it is. All right, I'm gonna do 2 more and then we'll end this thread and get into our book for today. All right, what's your NSFW college story? I had a part-time on-campus job as night manager for the college coffee shop with responsibility for baking all of the cookies for the next day. One night, I was cleaning the work area after the shop was closed and my coworkers were gone. My very kinky girlfriend stopped by, closed the door to the work area, and showed me her lack of underwear. Oh, shit. Man is living my dream. I just talked about this. Just talked about how, like, if I was dating a girl, she came to my work, and then we went to the bathroom and we smashed. That would be my dream. He's living it. Or he lived it. I'm mad. Livid. We proceeded to fuck on the work table where the cookies get made. Later that month, we fucked in the coffee shop itself after hours while a big college dance party was taking place literally right next door. Said very kinky girlfriend is now my wife. Just celebrated 25 years married. Damn, bro. Damn. Living my dream. One day. You know what I mean? One day. It'll happen. One day. You know? I have hope. I have some hopes. I know it will happen one day. God damn it. I was literally just talking about that specific scenario. And then some motherfucker in my thread over here talking about I did it. I did your dream, bitch. Yeah, you know what I mean? He was just like, yeah. And I'm just like, all right, man. I had to lay down and take it, you know? It is what it is, man, you know. This is going to be the last one for the thread. Okay, what's your NSFW college story? Not sex related, but some guy at a frat party on campus next door to my frat eventually had to go to the hospital, had a 48 BAC or something like that. Apparently that the reason his heart was still going was all the Coca-Cola he had been doing throughout the night. Holy shit. Imagine, bro. You being like, yeah, I almost died. But, you know, sniffing the Coca-Cola is what saved my life. That's crazy, man. I guarantee that guy's dead now. Because he probably was just like, oh, man, Coca-Cola saved my life. It's the best thing ever. You know what I mean? Like, bro, come on, man. Like, there's no way in hell homeboy gave up the Coca-Cola after that. You know what I mean? He was like, the cocaina was my shit, man. You know? Hey, you know, teach his own, I guess. I wouldn't recommend it, though. This guy got lucky. He was supposed to die that day. Let's be honest with you. My man was supposed to die that day. He got Final Destination, I'm sure, because, bruh, that's crazy. That is some crazy shit. Think about it. You know, that homeboy, the doctor is just like, oh my God. Did you know the only reason why your friend didn't die today was because he was on the cocaina? And they're like, no fucking way. You know what I mean? They get back to the party and they're like, hey, yo, hey, who brought the cocaina, man? He was like, you just saved Brett's life, bro. Brett would be dead. But because of you, man, he's alive. Best drug dealer ever, man. That drug dealer's probably on like, cloud 9 at this point. He's just like, yeah, motherfucker, that's me. I did that, you know? Oh, craziness. But that's going to be the end of that thread, man. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have a crazy ass college story, definitely put it down in the comments. I'd love to read it. All right. My goodness. Love it. All right. We're going to get through announcements as fast as we can so we can get you lovely people and you lovely freaks into this beautiful book. All right. So patreon.com/My The Asshole Podcast. Exclusive episode every single Friday. So as being able to send in your scenario to be featured on the Tuesday and Sunday shows. All right. So definitely get on in there. $3 a month. That's all I ask for, baby. Over 100 hours of content over there just waiting for you. Tomorrow we're going to be doing a free Patreon Day episode. Okay. So if you want to wait till tomorrow, check that episode out. See if Patreon is for you. Definitely gotta get on in there, okay? Audio listeners, thank you guys so much for all the support. Appreciate you guys. Love you so much. Keep downloading as well as rating us 5 stars on your preferred platform. Spotify and Apple Music people, love you guys. You guys are the GOATs, all right? And all that support is free, okay? You know what I mean? Downloading, rating us 5 stars, that's free. If it's for free, then it's for me. And if you want to help out even more on the free 99 side of things, go ahead and follow us on Instagram and TikTok. Subscribe to us on YouTube. We are on our road to 2,000 subscribers by the end of this year. Hopefully we can hit that great little milestone. But yeah, help me out with that. Also, follow us on Twitch. Follow us on Twitch. We are almost affiliate. We are getting ever so close to that. So definitely follow us on Twitch. And if you do not want to miss any content as well as never missing a live stream, follow our Discord down in the description. All right. Follow the Discord. Get on in there. The notification center has everything that you could possibly need whenever we upload a clip, whenever we upload an episode, whenever we go live. It's all there. Links are there. All that. It's beautiful. I have it all automated just for you guys. So definitely get on in there, man, and check that out. All right. But without further ado, I'm done yapping. We going to get into the book. All right. I'm going to set you guys up. We'll get on over there. Okay.
Chapter 5. Allie. The faceless man had been here. Here. In my bedroom. On my bed with his hand in his pants as he filmed himself. I should have been scared out of my fucking mind that a stranger from the internet had broken into my house. And I was. Truly. But I was also more turned on than I'd ever been in my life, and at this rate, it was only going to take a few more brutal thrusts of my vibrator before I came screaming. I turned the vibration up and pumped the sex toy into myself with one hand, while I held my phone aloft with the other, watching as the man I'd lusted after for months pleasured himself on this very comforter. Look at those goddamn muscles, at the knife he held in his free hand, the way his forearm bunched and flexed as he stroked himself. He was the hottest thing I'd ever seen, and he'd somehow noticed all the thirsty comments I left him out of the thousands he must get on a daily basis. It made me feel special, seen, chosen. Until tonight, I honestly thought my obsession was just a phase, that I was all talk, and my recently awakened kink was purely driven by the overwhelming abundance of masked men on my social media feed. I was convinced that a new trend would gain traction online, and I'd be into bondage by the end of the month instead. Silly me. I knew better now. This wasn't just a passing fancy for me. It was my ride-or-die fantasy, and the fact that I might be living it out made me feel more alive than anything else had in months. But I wasn't stupid. My years working as a trauma nurse had taught me that this was much more likely to end in tragedy than anything else. I'd checked my entire house, top to bottom, and knew he wasn't inside. I'd also braced chairs against both my front and back doors, as well as my bedroom. I was as safe as I could be for now, and as soon as I got this overwhelming need out of my system, I'd go back to being terrified and angry. The video started over, and I pulled my phone in for a close-up view as the faceless man flattened a big hand over his abs and then slid it torturously slow into his unbuttoned jeans. He stroked downward first, tugging his dick from base to tip. I moaned and imagined the feel of it in my hand, so wide I could barely wrap my fingers around it, hard as steel, soft as silk, and warm enough to set my blood on fire. I wasn't lying in my comments. I wanted to crawl to this man, give him the most toe-curling, leg-shaking, dick-throbbing, sheet-gripping, soul-sucking, ball-draining head of his life. I was close just thinking about it, so I let the fantasy play out in my mind as I inserted myself into the video, joining him on the bed and replacing his hand with my mouth, choking down that dick until my eyes watered and my pussy clenched. I wanted his hands in my hair, gripping so hard it hurt as he fucked my mouth. I craned my head up to stare at the mask, his mask, that he'd left for me like some macabre memento. It was all too easy to imagine him staring out of it, watching me while I shoved the vibrator deep and held it in place. I was done teasing myself, needed to come like I needed to breathe. The small nub at the base of the device thrummed against my clit in a way that had my spine arching off the bed. My phone fell from numb fingers, and I slammed my eyes shut as my entire being spiraled down into the sensitive bundle of nerves between my thighs. Oh God, I was going to... Fuck! I half yelled, half moaned as light exploded behind my closed lids, and an orgasm tore through me with as much violence as pleasure. I lay there panting afterward, half dazed and still aroused. Shit. This wasn't good. A man had broken into my house, and instead of calling the cops, I'd masturbated on top of whatever evidence might remain. No way could I call them now. How the hell would I explain myself? And why didn't you call us immediately? They would ask. Sorry, officer, I was too busy diddling myself instead. Ugh. And also, I'd asked for this. I wasn't victim-blaming myself. I had literally begged for it to happen. At one point, I'd even left a comment offering him money to break in and wait for me in the dark. How would that hold up in court? His defense could probably argue that all their client had done was take me at my word. I should ask the hospital's lawyers about it. Technically, I was one of their clients as an employee. That meant they couldn't tell all my coworkers about the freaky shit I was into outside of work, right? Client privilege and all that? I got up and cleaned myself off. I was soaked, wetter than I'd been in a long time. Regular sex was fine, cathartic even. But at this point, it had become less exciting than it used to be, and more about stress relief and the need for physical intimacy with another person. A reminder that people could give each other pleasure instead of pain. My job was truly starting to impact my life. I'd known it was a possibility going in. School had tried to prepare me. Back when I'd first entered the career field, my on-the-job trainer and other coworkers had told me how much of a toll trauma nursing could take on someone, detailing the sky-high divorce rates at the hospital, PTSD diagnoses, and addiction issues. But I hadn't listened. I'd been too naive and headstrong. No one had been there when my mom needed it, and I couldn't let what happened to her happen to anyone else if there was something I could do about it. Now, I was starting to become numb. I'd seen so much shit that my faith in humanity was at rock bottom, and I'd lost contact with everyone but my nursing and other first responder friends because no one else understood what I faced day in and day out. Even sex had lost its thrill. Or at least, vanilla sex had. What I had just done proved that I needed something spicier to get me off. Something darker with a sharp edge of danger. A soft meow pulled me from my thoughts. Right. I'd locked Fred in the bathroom. It made me feel like a bad parent after the night he'd had. He'd probably hidden under my bed and only came out when I got home. He didn't like or trust most people, especially men. Who could blame him? And he'd run from or hissed at every guy I'd ever invited over. A stranger being in his space when I wasn't even here must have scared him shitless. I got changed into pajamas and then let Fred out. He zoomed into my room and went straight to the door. Poor guy probably had to pee. My nerves returning, I scooped my gun off the dresser and carefully slid the chair from beneath the knob, half afraid that someone was waiting to bust inside. I flicked open the lock and then cracked the door, gun aimed. No one stood in the short hall separating the bedrooms, thank God. And I'd left so many lights on that I didn't see anyone anywhere else when I craned my head around the corner and looked into my open-concept living area. Still, my paranoia had reached an all-time high, and while Fred raced toward his litter box, I cleared my house for the second time. A chime had me turning back toward my bedroom when I was done. I'd left my phone in there. Had completely forgotten to respond to the video the faceless man sent me. A blush stole up my cheeks. If only he knew the reason why. He'd probably be even more convinced that I approved of what he'd done and was hopeful for a repeat, preferably while I was home. I scooped my phone off the dresser and froze. Was I hopeful for a repeat? I shook my head. No, absolutely not. That would be crazy, right? But there was no denying the heat blooming in my core, or how my heart tripped in response to the thought. My phone chimed again, and I glanced down at it. I saw 2 new social media notifications. The faceless man had sent me more messages. My fingers shook as I unlocked the screen. What had he said? Did he send another video? And why was I so desperate to find out when I should be blocking and reporting his ass? It wasn't another video. Just 2 simple, heart-stopping messages.
Sleep tight, Alyssa.
I blinked. Not Allie. Alyssa. My full name. That I hadn't used in my profile, comments, or anywhere else on this goddamn app. I wasn't even surprised. He'd broken into my house, so he must have learned my full name. And God only knew how much else about me before he came here. Still, having him type it out felt even more intrusive for some reason, and not in an entirely bad way either. What the hell did I say back to him? Thank you? Go fuck yourself, you creep? Try something like this again and I'll shoot you? Get your ass back here right now, you monster, you can't leave me this turned on? It felt like my brain was splitting in half. On the one hand, this was the hottest thing that had ever happened to me. On the other, it was also the most fucked up. This truly was the horror movie I would die in, wasn't it? Somehow, despite how horny and afraid I'd been, I managed to fall asleep. I'd barricaded myself in my room with Fred, moving his litter box into my bathroom and his food and water bowl by my dresser. I also fell asleep clutching a baseball bat, my gun within easy reach. I was convinced I'd have nightmares, or worse, sex dreams, but I'd slept like the dead for a solid 10 hours, waking only when Fred got bored with his imprisonment and started running laps around my bed. Now, I sat at my small dining table, clutching a huge mug of coffee while my mind worked on overdrive. Part of me couldn't believe what had happened. The faceless man broke into my house last night. Even thinking it felt surreal. Like I'd detached from reality and resided in a dark matrix glitch of my own making. He could have hidden in here and murdered me the second I walked through the door, but he didn't. I was still whole and hale, if more than a little rattled, and that had to mean something, didn't it? That he didn't want to kill me? Don't be a dumbass, I told myself. Right. For all I knew, this was foreplay to him. He could be like a cat toying with its prey, relishing the chase, watching mercilessly while I flailed around, waiting for the opportune moment to strike. He might really be a killer and did this with all his victims. Lured them to him online, flirted, broke into their houses, maybe even fucked them a few times without hurting them. I could see it now, how easily someone could fall for that trap, dropping their guard only for him to serial murder them in some spectacularly messy way. Well, I'd be his next victim over my dead— Whoops, wrong phrase for right now. I wouldn't be his next victim. Later today, I'd add the gun store to my long list of errands. They sold more than weapons. In addition to personal defense items, they carried home defense supplies. I'd get cameras, an alarm. That motherfucker wouldn't be getting back in here without one hell of a fight. I shifted in my seat, trying to ignore the fact that despite my newfound resolve, I was still turned on and had been since last night. My panties damp and my nipples shooting little shivers of pleasure through me every time they brushed against the inside of my sweatshirt. Stupid kink making me lust after a man who probably wanted to carve my skin off and make himself a pair of gloves out of it. I grimaced at that image and took another sip of coffee. This whole situation was beyond frustrating. Did he want to hurt me, or didn't he? And why had he chosen me, out of all the people in his comment sections, to single out? Did he live somewhere nearby? Had I met him offline somehow? Bumped into him in my favorite coffee shop or lifted weights next to him at the gym? Even if I had, how had he found me online? He must have known my name and what I looked like if he was able to pick me out of his comments, because I'd told no one, absolutely no one, about my mask kink IRL, and I wasn't friends or following anyone I knew personally on my account either. What happened after he found me? How had he gone from figuring out who I was to learning where I lived? Most importantly, how did he get in here last night? None of my windows were broken or unlocked. I didn't have a chimney for him to slither down, and my back door had a deadbolt that I kept locked from the inside. As far as I knew, he would have had to break it to get in. I'd checked last night, and there were no signs of forced entry. So that left the front door. The power had cut off sometime during the night. Had he somehow triggered it and used the cover of darkness to sneak inside? No. It must have been a coincidence. He'd have to be a top-notch hacker to pull something like that off. And to figure out everything else he had about me, now that I thought about it. My phone was sitting face up on the table beside me. I eyed it warily. Was he somehow watching me through it even now? I shoved it behind my napkin holder, out of sight, just to be safe. I was in way over my head. I'd taken a few programming courses in high school and college, enough to realize that a job in one of the computer science fields wasn't for me. I had no idea what skills were needed to hack my phone, or if it was even possible. Wait a minute. Wasn't Tyler's roommate a computer genius? Could he answer my questions? Things might have been over between me and Tyler, but it wasn't like it was ever serious between us or ended badly. I'd seen him at the gym the other afternoon, and he'd been nice enough, waving to me across the weight room and giving me a thumbs up when I hit a new max on my deadlift. Would it be weird to ask him if he would talk to his roommate for me? How would I ever explain what I needed? Hey, Tyler, it's Allie. Don't worry, I'm not still into you or anything. I just need your roommate to track down the man from that thirst trap I sent you. I rolled my eyes. Yeah, that would go over well. Maybe I'd be okay if I kept it vague and offered to pay the guy. I'd only met Josh once, so it wasn't like he'd have any reason to do it out of friendship or the goodness of his heart. My thoughts wandered back to that one meeting. The only details Tyler had told me about Josh were that he was a recluse with a fancy cybersecurity job. I'd expected him to be some reed-thin short guy with glasses, and yes, I was aware that meant I'd fallen for the Hollywood stereotype of what a geek looked like. Josh taught me better. Because he was huge, at least 6'4", and though he'd been wearing baggy gym pants and a sweatshirt the morning I bumped into him in their kitchen, there was no hiding the fact that the man was yoked. I'd only caught a glance at his profile. Strong jaw, aquiline nose, the kind of thick, long lashes most women would kill for. But that one glimpse was enough to tell me Josh had heartbreaker-level good looks. He must have had Mediterranean blood in him because his skin had some olive in it, and his hair was just as dark as mine. Mom would have taken one look at him and said something inappropriate about him being a man who could give her strong Italian grandchildren. He'd made me stand up straighter, instantly aware of the fact that I was wearing his roommate's t-shirt, and he'd probably heard me fucking Tyler just a few hours earlier because we hadn't been as quiet as we should have after splitting a bottle of wine over dinner. None of that mattered because I didn't need Josh for his looks. I needed him for his brain. Would paying him be enough incentive to get him to help? And how much would I have to tell him about what I needed? Could I simply ask him to find someone for me without going into too much detail? I needed Google to answer all these questions. My fingers strayed toward my phone, but I hesitated, not trusting myself not to pull up my DMs again and obsess over the video the faceless man had sent me. Instead, I set my coffee down and went in search of my laptop.
Chapter 6. Josh. Allie was Googling what information a hacker needed to find someone for her. This could be a problem. I watched her through her laptop camera as she read the article, her dark eyes filled with focus, a small divot appearing between her brows as she started to frown. Her hair was in a messy bun, she had no makeup on, and her clothes were rumpled just like she'd rolled out of bed. Something inside me softened at the sight. I'd been so fixated on playing out a fantasy with her that I hadn't stopped to consider what reality might look like. I closed my eyes and pictured myself sitting across from her at the dining table, watching her sip coffee as she woke up, her hair wild and lips bruised from what I'd done to them the night before. I nearly groaned at the thought. It had been so long since I'd shared a bed with someone for more than just a quick hookup. When was the last time I'd woken to a woman splayed across my chest as she slept, using me for body heat? The fact that I couldn't remember probably wasn't a good thing. Tyler regularly called me a recluse, but up until now I hadn't given it a second thought. So what if I was one? My aversion to leaving the apartment building was warranted, considering my past and the fallout of being recognized. But picturing myself inside a simple slice-of-life scene with Allie had me questioning my choices. How much was I missing out on by locking myself away from the rest of the world? Was it still necessary to guard myself from people and vice versa? I was 26 years old, and so far, I'd gone all this time without hurting anyone. Did that mean I might never hurt someone? Dad had committed his first assault as a young teen. The podcast that examined his case loved talking about how an early childhood filled with abuse and a couple of head wounds had started him down his dark path. He'd passed the pain on to me before Mom managed to get us away from him for good, but at least I'd been lucky enough to escape suffering a traumatic brain injury. The McDonald triad was an outdated but sometimes eerily accurate prediction of violent tendencies in a person. The first point of the triangle was fire starting. Burning shit down had never appealed to me. The second was bedwetting. I'd had an iron bladder, even from an early age, and I'd never pissed the sheets. The third was the one I'd always worried about, because I'd never wanted to test myself. Animal cruelty. But since I hadn't hurt Fred the other night, or was even tempted to, I was starting to feel more confident than I had in a long time that I wasn't going to snap one day and turn into my father. Bro, you are literally stalking Allie right now, I reminded myself. Yeah, there was that. Okay, so I might not be a danger to the public, but I had some traits most people, my therapist included, if I ever confessed what I was doing to her, would call problematic. At least I wasn't watching Allie because I wanted to chain her up in my hypothetical basement or anything. I just needed to figure out whether or not she was into what I'd done, and then I'd stop. I rolled my eyes. Unfortunately, I was too self-aware to believe my own bullshit. I wasn't gonna fucking stop. Allie sat forward in her seat and started typing.
Can someone watch me through my laptop camera?
Uh-oh. Her eyes flashed wide as she read the results, then jerked to the top of the screen, looking straight at me. Hello, gorgeous, I said, wishing she could hear me so I could watch the blood drain from her face in fear. Yup, definitely problematic. I'd circle back around to analyze that later.
Shit.
Allie bit out, pushing away from the table. She turned and strode out of view, and I watched her ass the entire time. The things I wanted to do to that ass. I'd always thought of myself as a tit man, but Allie was proving me wrong. I heard her rustling around somewhere nearby before she marched back into the feed, carrying duct tape and scissors. She was about to cover the camera. Fuck. Disappointment and frustration sank straight into my gut. And I couldn't stop myself from pulling my phone out and typing a one-word message to her. Don't. Her phone pinged on screen, and she paused in the middle of tearing off a piece of tape to look at it. Fear flashed across her face, sweet, delicious fear, before being quickly replaced by anger.
Listen, motherfucker.
She said, setting her phone down and planting her hands on the table as she leaned in close. God, she was beautiful when she was mad, her dark eyes almost black as she narrowed them at me.
I am going to find you, and then we'll see how much you like it when you come home to discover someone waiting for you in the dark.
A thrill shot through me, zooming straight to my dick. Apparently, I'd like that a lot. I might not even try to block whatever 2-bit hacker she might end up hiring if it meant the result was her waiting for me with a gun or a knife. I'd be her willing victim. Or maybe I'd test her to see how far she'd go. I didn't have a death wish. It's not like I wanted her to shoot me or anything, but I was curious about how much darkness hid beneath her beautiful facade. If she wanted to rough me up a little, I might just let her. Actually, no, scratch that. Instead, I'd rather put up a good defense, push Allie to her limit, and see how much she'd learned in her self-defense classes. She looked like a woman who didn't pull her punches. And with all the muscle on her frame and how well she must know her body after all her workouts, she could probably do some real damage, even to someone like me who outweighed her by at least 70 pounds. I grinned. Unfortunately for Allie, I'd been studying various martial arts since I was 11. Mom enrolled both herself and me in our first class after we'd left my dad, wanting us to be able to defend ourselves if he ever tried to hurt us again. Even now, I practiced once a week with Tyler, who'd taken them with me starting in high school. I'd let Allie get a few punches in, make her feel like she had a chance before pinning her to the ground and finding some way to convince her she'd rather fuck than fight. I sat back and watched her while she tore a piece of duct tape free. I didn't miss the way her mind had gone straight to revenge. She could have threatened to report me, ordered me not to break in again, or told me she was calling the cops, but she didn't do any of those things. Did that mean some part of her enjoyed this as much as I did? After all, a normal person would go to the police. They'd let the professionals try to find me instead of searching for me themselves. Not only had Allie not done any of those things, but she hadn't even told me to stop spying on her. I palmed my erection through my shorts. She was into it. She might still be trying to convince herself she wasn't or shouldn't be, but she was. I just knew it. Somehow I'd find a way to get her to accept it about herself. She leaned in again and sent me a wink through the camera that had me gripping the base of my dick so hard it almost hurt.
See you soon.
She threatened before lifting the tape. Sooner than you think, baby, I thought as the screen went dark. Last night I'd formulated another plan for breaking into her house, but now I had a better idea, where she'd have just as much control as I would. I slid my hand beneath my waistband and idly stroked my dick, tipping back in my chair. Allie might have temporarily blocked me from looking at her, but I still had a window open that mirrored her computer screen. Her next Google search was for how to turn off her camera entirely. I followed along as she went through the steps, letting out an exhale when she was finished. She'd killed the video feed but hadn't disabled the microphone. I heard rustling through it, wondering what she was doing before the quiet sound of a phone ringing hit my ears. Who was she calling? An all too familiar voice picked up. Allie? I yanked my hand away from my dick. She called Tyler? What the fuck? And why did I suddenly want to drive to his office and punch him in the face? Get a hold of yourself, I thought. He's your best friend.
Tyler, hi. Sorry for calling you out of nowhere. I'm not about to beg you to reconsider breaking things off or anything, but I have sort of a weird favor, and if this is crossing a line, feel free to tell me to fuck off.
Okay, Tyler said. I recognized that tone of voice. He didn't believe her. He totally thought she was about to proposition him. Allie took a deep breath.
I feel like I remember you saying your roommate was good with computers.
Oh, fuck. No. She wasn't about to. She couldn't really be. Tyler blew out a laugh, sounding relieved. He is, why?
Could he find someone for me? Online? I have a bit of a situation here.
Fuck. I was a danger, after all, to Tyler, because I was going to kill him for telling her that much about me. The humor was gone from my roommate's voice when he responded. What kind of situation? Are you okay?
I
Allie said, and I wished I could see her face.
think so. Actually, I'd know for sure if your roommate could find this person.
I jerked to my feet and threaded my hands behind my head. This was bad. This was so bad. Allie, seriously, if someone threatened you or something, you should go to the cops, not my roommate.
I haven't been threatened.
There was a long pause.
I don't think.
God damn it. If I knew Tyler, he was about to offer to handle things himself. Right on cue, he said, "Just tell me what you need and Josh and I will take care of it. Between the two of us, we'll make whoever it is regret being born,"
I can handle this.
Allie said, a hint of annoyance creeping into her tone.
I just need to find the person. That's all. Can Josh help me or not? I'll pay him.
There went my dick, tenting up my shorts again the second she said my name. "Save your money," Tyler said. "I'm sure he'll do it for free." I nearly flipped my fucking desk. Great. There was no getting out of helping Allie now, at least not without seeming like a monumental asshole and making Tyler question why I'd turn her down. It would look suspicious as fuck if I said no. Allie let out a sigh.
Thank you. Just let me know a good time to come over.
Come over? Come over here? I whipped my head to the left, toward the distinctive couch along the far wall that I heavily featured in my videos, then to my bed and the stupid fucking custom headboard I just had to commission because I couldn't go to IKEA like everyone else on the goddamn planet. No, I had to be special, unique. Allie was smart. She'd probably worked out that I lived nearby. The second she stepped inside my room, I'd be fucked. "I'll talk to him after work and let you know," Tyler said.
Okay. Thank you for this.
They got off the phone and I started pacing, feeling like a caged animal. No need to panic. I could figure this out. For starters, Allie couldn't come in here. That much was obvious. Nor could she get a good look at my hands. My tattoos were just as distinctive as my furniture choices, and they crawled all the way down to my knuckles. Thankfully, I had a pair of fingerless gloves. I'd chuck them on before she arrived, and if she asked why I was wearing them, I'd tell her I was cold. I paused in my pacing and grabbed my phone to start planning everything I'd need to do to avoid detection. I'd have to turn the thermostat down to sell the lie about being chilly. I'd need to move my laptop into the living room and work from there instead of on my desktop. And I'd definitely need to swap the Utah dad I'd framed for someone within driving distance if I was going to pretend to track myself down. My fingers flew over my phone as I made a list in the Note app. I was nothing if not organized. By the time I had it all written out in front of me, I felt marginally better. This wasn't a total disaster, and on the plus side, I'd have a reason to spend time with Allie, learn more about her, and get a better read on what she thought about the situation I'd dragged her into. I slipped my phone into my pocket when I was done, still feeling jittery. I had to get out of there and clear my head. A glance at my computer showed me the sound monitor tied to Allie's laptop was still measuring noise, so she hadn't closed it. I sent the feed to my tablet, grabbed that along with my keys and wallet, pulled on sweatpants and a jacket, and headed out. I connected the tablet to my car speakers through Bluetooth as the engine roared to life, and I waited for the heat to kick on, listening in as Allie moved about her house. Just in case she walked into her bedroom, I set my phone in its dashboard holder and pulled up the feed for the hidden camera. Mobile stalking unit activated. I felt proud of myself for all of a second before I realized what a creep this probably made me. Despite knowing I should feel guilty and wrong for what I was doing, I didn't. All I could drum up was a slight hint of regret, but even that didn't make me want to stop. At this point, only law enforcement or Allie telling me to fuck off would be enough to put an end to my behavior. I hoped. 20 minutes later, I was driving past Allie's house for the second time, laughing to myself as she spammed my DMs. My first present had arrived, and she was not amused.
Flowers? You bought me fucking flowers after breaking into my house? Also, what the hell am I supposed to do with an entire floral shop? These delivery men are telling me that it's against policy for them to take them back since they've been paid for. If you meant this as an apology, you failed. I'm madder at you now than I was last night.
That last statement piqued my interest. She was more annoyed by flowers than a home invasion. Yup, Allie was fucked up and she probably didn't even realize how much her comments revealed because she was still trying to convince herself she didn't want this. I longed to say something back to her, but I wasn't responding to anything because it might come too close to an admission of guilt.
I don't have anywhere else to put these,
Allie said, loud enough that both the microphone on her laptop and the one attached to the camera in her bedroom picked it up. The delivery man's response was muffled.
No, I know that's not your problem, but come on.
My amusement faded. Was he being rude to her? Keep driving, stupid, I told myself. I couldn't pull over and teach him a lesson about politeness right now. That would ruin everything. But maybe I could figure out who these guys were and find some digital way to show them the error of their ways.
How about this? Take them to the nurses' station at Prescott Memorial.
The response was muffled again.
$50 to drive them 10 minutes away? Are you serious?
I grimaced. Well, this was backfiring. A heavy sigh came through the speakers as I parked a street away from hers.
Let me get my wallet,
I heard her say. I yanked my phone from its dock just in time to watch her stomp into her bedroom, looking pissed. Fred was lying curled up in a ball on her comforter, nonplussed at all the noise. Allie grabbed her wallet from her handbag and paused long enough to scratch Fred between the ears.
I hope you bit the faceless man.
Fred made a little chirping noise in response. I chose to interpret that as him defending my character. Weren't pets supposed to have some sixth sense and could always tell the good people from the bad? He hadn't so much as hissed at me. In fact, he wouldn't leave me alone the whole time I was there, and I eventually had to shut him out of Allie's room so I could film in peace. I took that as a sign that I wasn't as damned as I thought, and a little heavy stalking wasn't enough to condemn me. Allie paid the delivery driver and shut her front door hard enough that my speakers rattled.
Great.
She typed a minute later.
On top of being a pain in the ass and way over the top, your gift just cost me $50.
I slid down in my seat, wishing I could apologize, but knowing I shouldn't. Oh, wait, didn't Allie have a payment app? I pulled one of my anonymous accounts up on the tablet and found her on the app, sending her $50 via the same stolen credit card I'd used to buy the flowers.
Seriously?
She asked.
You think that makes up for all this hassle?
I drummed my fingers against the dashboard, frustrated about my inability to communicate with her. I almost brought my burner phone, but I'd left it behind, telling myself it was too early to text her from it. A loud ding-dong came from my speakers. Her doorbell? I pulled up my tracking app, and sure enough, my other gifts had just arrived. I heard a door open, and then...
Can I help you?
I'm here to deliver a package to Alyssa Capellicci, a man said, mangling her last name. She didn't bother to correct him.
I'm she.
Sign here?
But I didn't order anything.
So you're refusing delivery?
No.
Then please sign here.
Who sent this?
No idea. We don't get that information. Do you want the package or not?
Fine, yeah.
It got quiet for a minute, and I assumed she was signing. Here you go, the man said. Have a good day. The front door closed again, and I heard more muffled sounds. My phone pinged a second later.
Did you send me something?
Several somethings, but she'd figure that out soon enough.
It better not be a bomb, or I'm coming back as a poltergeist and finding some way to ghost murder you.
I grinned. Allie was just as snarky as her thirsty comments made her out to be, and I was here for it. Suddenly, she appeared on my phone screen as she entered the room. She went straight to Fred, scooped him up, and put him in her bathroom.
Sorry, bud,
she said.
But you have to stay here. Mom is about to do something stupid, and I don't want you to get hurt if this goes sideways.
She shut the door on his protesting meow and left her room. I tried to drum up some remorse as I leaned forward in my seat and listened to her open the packages, but I was too excited. Plus, I knew it wasn't a bomb, obviously.
What is all this? Oh, you have got to be fucking kidding me.
My phone pinged and I immediately opened her messages.
You sent me home defense tools? After breaking into my house? Are you serious right now?
Keep going, I wanted to tell her. On top of buying her burglar-proof wedges with built-in alarms that could be shoved beneath her doors, I'd gotten her titanium bars that braced against knobs way better than a chair could, extra locks that couldn't be manipulated with magnets, and an entire in-home security system complete with cameras for her front and back doors. Lastly, because some small part of me believed in fairness and wanting to even the playing field, I got her a high-tech camera detector. Watching her had been fun and was fulfilling a surveillance kink I didn't even know I had until now. But it'd be even more fun if Allie decided she wanted to be watched. I heard more rustling and then...
This motherfucker. Why did you get me these things?
She demanded via DM.
To make it harder for yourself the next time you try to break in? Are you some sort of sick fuck who likes the challenge? Also, you saved me the trouble of having to buy them for myself later today, like planned. But if you're waiting for a thank you, you're shit out of luck, buddy.
A solid minute of silence passed.
Answer me, goddammit.
Her voice echoed through my car.
I know you're reading these messages, you bastard. I can see the red receipts.
Before I could stop myself, I sent her a kissy face emoji. One day I would learn to stop being such a smartass, but today was not that day. The growl that rumbled out of my speakers in response was adorable.
That's it,
She said.
I changed my mind. I'm calling the cops on his ass.
Don't. I typed back, the same single word from before. This couldn't be traced to anything she'd written, and if we ever ended up in court, it would be her word against mine that my response was to something she said. I really hoped it didn't come to that. I was having way too much fun with her.
What the fuck?
She said.
Are you listening to me somehow? How the hell do I disable the microphone on a laptop?
Well, I'm certainly not telling you, I sent back.
I hope you're enjoying yourself, you son of a bitch.
Immensely, I responded, adding a smiley face emoji for good measure.
I am going to find you, and I am going to make you regret this.
Sounds kinky. A strangled laugh came through my speakers, and the grin that split my face in response felt evil. Got her. She was enjoying this on some level, too. Now I just needed to keep pulling her strings until I found the one that unraveled her enough that she stopped fighting against her nature and joined me on my descent into darkness.
Do not misconstrue the sound that just came out of my mouth. It was hysterical laughter only, brought on by stress and a murderous rage.
Hot, I replied. She choked on another laugh.
God damn it. That's it. I'm turning off my computer.
I sent a crying face emoji.
You're not funny.
Then why do you keep laughing?
I am not laughing. Not really.
I pulled up my photo app, double-checked that the background of the video I needed was blurry enough that her room wasn't identifiable, and then sent her an outtake from last night, just to keep her talking. She went quiet as she watched a shirtless me trying to film myself in her mirror, only for Fred to suddenly leap onto the bed and start meowing at me at the top of his lungs, rubbing against my hand when I wasn't fast enough to pet him. This was a huge risk. The room might be blurry, but me pictured alongside a black and white cat could prove harder to defend. I was operating on instinct alone at this point. Allie hadn't reported me yet, and if my gut was right, there was a good chance she never would.
No,
She said.
there is absolutely no way. What did you do? Cover yourself in catnip? He hates men.
Now, why did that little piece of information suddenly make me feel so special? He just has exacting taste, I said. I sent her another outtake, this one of Fred stalking up behind me before pouncing at my dangling fingers, slapping at them without using his claws, and then bounding off screen where he yowled like he wanted me to play chase with him. Allie chuckled, but it turned muffled after a clapping sound, like she'd clamped a hand over her mouth to stifle it.
This means nothing,
She said.
Cats are sociopaths by nature. Fred simply recognized a similar creature.
If I'm the cat, what does that make you? The mouse?
I'm a motherfucking wolf.
Allie said. And then her computer cut off as she killed the power. Damn it. Well, at least I still had her bedroom camera for a few more minutes. I locked the tablet and switched my phone to Bluetooth to hear her better over the speakers.
What the hell is this thing?
She said. My phone started rapid-fire chiming.
A camera finder? No. Dude, no. You better not have.
She marched straight into her bedroom with the device aimed. Well, here goes my last way to monitor her in her house, I thought. It took less than a minute for her to find the camera I planted, and when she did, she just stood in front of it, staring for so long that I started to get nervous. Unable to stand it any longer, I picked up my phone. Say something, I typed. She glanced at her phone screen and then back at the camera.
The other night, after you sent me that video, did you?
She snapped her mouth shut like she couldn't bring herself to finish the sentence. Allie, no, I said, feeling desperate. I wanted her to be afraid of me, but not like this. I stopped.
I don't believe you,
she said, so low I barely heard it. Fuck, I was starting to lose her, wasn't I? And you don't have any reason to, I typed. But I'm still telling you I stopped.
Have you been watching me change and sleep and...
No, my moral compass might not point north, but it's not that fucked up.
Why should I believe you?
I sighed, wanting to convince her, but knowing that wasn't the right move. As far as she knew, I was a stranger on the internet. You shouldn't, Allie. She let out a low noise of frustration and shook her head.
Fuck.
As I watched, she yanked the camera from the socket, and even though I knew it was coming, I wasn't ready for the sense of loss that punched through me. I don't want to hurt you, I told her, knowing I might regret it when this all went to shit and she finally reported me.
Didn't you just imply I'd be an idiot to believe you?
I suppose I had. Her online notification cut off as she logged out of the app. This was fine. I'd expected Allie to be pissed about the camera for a little while. She had every right to be. But if everything went to plan, I was going to prove that I didn't intend to hurt her, and she could trust me.
All right. And that has been today's episode. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening. My goodness, this book is interesting. It is a very, very interesting book. I am excited to see how they further this little weird relationship that they're having. It's so weird that he's like talking to her through her like microphone and her laptop and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. This book is definitely interesting. It does have some very Haunting Adeline vibes, if I'm being honest with you. But yeah, I'm excited to see where this goes next. But again, tomorrow we have our free Patreon Day episode. And yeah, so I'll see you guys tomorrow for that. Again, keep downloading the episodes as well as rating us 5 stars. Follow us on TikTok as well as Instagram. Subscribe on YouTube. Follow your boy on Twitch. Get down in the Discord. All that good stuff. Thank you guys so much. Love you all. And I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.